All right, hey guys, thanks for joining us for part two. We're gonna do a 3-cut block, and the reason we're gonna call that is because it's kind of like a block with a few cuts in it. It's probably only like 2 cuts, but I just threw a name out there. So check it out. We're gonna do something a little different on this one as well. I put an origin point here. In the comments, I'll leave the mass, the volume, and the X, Y, and Z center of mass. And then if you guys want, you can build the part, watch me build it, check in the end if your part matches. It's a good way to start getting prepared for the CSWA because that's basically what they're going to have you do. They're going to have you make a part. They'll give you an option of 4 masses, and they'll tell you to pick which one's correct. So that basically just means, did you make the part right due to all its dimensioning? And if you did, cool. And then you click the button, and then they'll have you make an edit. And if that first answer was right and your second answer or your second edit was right, they'll have you enter the weight. So not just pick from a selection of 4, you have to go and take the mass and put it down to 2 decimals. And if that's right with your second edits, then you get both questions right. So you can basically get the first one and still get the second one wrong, or you can get the first one wrong and then you're definitely going to get the second one wrong. So just start thinking about things like that if you want to take this exam. So let's build this part. Let's hop in. So just so we know, front, top, right, we've talked about it before. We did add some datums this time, which is not something that you'll be tested on, but it's something good to know. So talking about this drawing specifically, the datum feature A, or the first datum you put on your part, should be the largest piece that you'd set flat on a measuring table. And we can get more into that kind of stuff later. But essentially, like when you look at the part, what's the biggest, largest, flattest piece or plane? It's this bottom face. So that's what we have here. And then you can say the next one's going to be the next largest plane that you can set flat. And so that'd be this back wall here. And it's got to be perpendicular to your first one. So that works with these two. And then if we jump to our third one, which is also perpendicular to all of those, it's now this last plane perpendicular to this one and perpendicular to the bottom one. We see C, which is kind of like the smallest but still the largest edge. So some cool stuff to know about. You can click the datum feature and add that, and click your edge, and then change the letter in the inside or number it however you want to do it. It's customary to do A's and then double A's, and we'll skip a few things like I's and O's because those can look like, you know, different features and things in here like ones and diameters. So now that we've talked for a couple minutes, we can jump into the part. New part. In millimeters as always. And like we talked about the last one, we're going to try to get as much as we can from the image built in one sketch. And we're just going to kind of free eyeball it. We'll throw a line up there. We'll exit the sketch so we can pop over to the view. So we have that first line. Now we're going to make a line over and a line down and a line across and a line down, and we'll extrude that, and that'll make it easy. We could also just make a rectangle, right? That is 100 by 50, and we could extrude it outwards, and then we could make the few cuts. But if we try to make these cuts like it's shown here, we can maybe do away with more cutting, which is less clicking, which is faster on an exam. So I'm going to come over. It's the general facade of our piece here. And now let's extrude it the 100 millimeters that it wants. And we did see this time I added a origin point, so the extrusion dimension direction, does matter. It's cool. We have that kind of like generalized shape. One thing we didn't do this time is we didn't fully define our sketch and we didn't edit it, but we can hop in now and do that, and that totally works. So we have 50 tall, 100 wide, 100 wide. So we already did the 100 depth extrude, so we'll just have to focus on these 2 dimensions here for now. 100, 100, and you see that edited weird because that distance filled in, and this isn't dimensioned, so it doesn't know if you want to be on that side or that side, but we can fix that right now. We're seeing a 50 here, and we know this is 100, so it's cutting it in half, so we know the distance from this edge to be 50 as well. So let's do this, bring it upwards, and boom. And same thing with this part. Sometimes not all things are dimensioned like they should. It can be implied. So in this one, we see a 50 and we see it looks perfectly in half. We can assume that that's in half, especially if a lot of the dimensions are cut that way for the entire part. It doesn't hurt to try to confirm and double check all of your dimensions to see if you're not just seeing the dimension, because sometimes it can be confusing. You just don't see it yet. So just be aware that if you don't see it, it might be because you haven't looked hard enough. But in this one, I can tell you it is not there. It would be right here or right here off to the side and telling you 25. Oh, and I did that wrong. Or 50. Uh-oh. Am I getting this wrong here, guys? Let's double check. Can I get? It's because I'm not out of the sketch. It hates when you do that. Bring me my drawing. Thank you. There's the issue. This wall I put to 100. I didn't need to do that. There's the issue. So let's fix that. This kind of stuff will happen when you're building stuff, so just be used to it and be ready for it. It happens. Don't make mistakes. Don't worry about it. Just catch your mistake, figure it out, and fix it. So we have the generalized shape now. You kind of see that. It's all of this, but this is kind of too far here, isn't it? We're going to cut that off, don't we? So let's cut that. Cut that. We know from the sketch it to be 75 depth, so if it's from 100, it's 25, right? Easy. And we already have this cut across, I believe, because we did. Oh no, we need to make an extra cut in here, don't we? Because we put this at 50 and extruded it outwards, so we need to cut this little shape out too. So let's do that. We'll cut through all of this on this corner here. We know it's 25 by 25. Fully defined because we attached it to something that was fully defined. So once we extrude cut through, it's gone. We can see that sketch is gone. And now for the other piece. And this is going to be extremely similar. 25, 25. And same thing, since it's fully defined in relation to something that's fully defined, it's good. You might notice it's jumping past. That doesn't matter, it's cool. But depending on if you build a part that may have more stuff over there, you don't want things thinking that they're being cut into that they're not. You don't want SolidWorks to be doing weird stuff, so you could also do this. Up to surface, and it'll disappear and it'll ask what surface you want. Well, let's want that surface. Now it fills it out perfectly. Or you can do blind and do the measurement, and we know it would be 75. So, oh, and we actually made a mistake there. Do you see? I cut too much. I probably only needed to go 50. Yeah, 50. So making mistakes, but it's a good learning experience for everyone that's just seeing stuff like that, because now we can right-click, edit the feature, and instead of doing up to surface like we just talked about, we can do blind, like we mentioned, and do 50. And now look, we get the right cut. It's perfect. Okay, let's double check all of our images here, make sure we look right. Yeah, that looks good. Perfect, and all of our sketches are fully defined. And it was only a 2-cut sketch, so not bad. You could have done a 3-cut sketch, and let's talk about it this way. You could have made a block that was 100 tall by 100 by 100, cut down, or sorry, 50 tall by 100 by 100, cut down into one shape, cut across for that shape, cut across for that shape, or just from the top, cut down this whole shape and done one cut and cut down in 50. And that actually would have been probably a little faster than what we did here. So there's always different ways to do it, and there's always faster ways to do it. So be thinking about that, and especially if we're not making little mistakes like assumptions on our distances and wrong distances there. So yeah, check the comments for the center mass, the weight, and the volume, or I guess the total mass. We'll show you guys that there, and you can check there. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you.